Welcome to Festival Flashbacks. We have another festival flashback to go through where we reach into the stein of festivals that I put loads of them in over a year ago. And we randomly pull one out and then we discuss it. We just check it out, go through it, see what the bands are up to, see how much things have changed, really. Yeah, so you want to reach in and grab us one?
Nice and deep. Put them all out. Sonisphere Festival 2010.
Sonisphere 2010, a festival we do know well because we were at it. Yes. Is this the first one we've been able to cover where we can say we were actually at the festival? I'm not sure.
I think it is, you know.
I think it is, because I think even the Bloodstock ones we've done so far were earlier Bloodstock, so I think this might actually be the first festival where, like, okay, we were at this
both of us
one.
as well.
Yeah, both of us were at this one.
There may have been a download we picked out, and I didn't remember much of it because I was pretty drunk quite a lot back then. But yeah, both of us is the first.
Well, I can tell you, literally, right at this very stage, my first ever festival was Download 2008. My second ever festival was Sonisphere 2009. And then Sonisphere 2010, because we chose Sonisphere over it. Because of the location and a less busy environment, less people and stuff like that, even though it effectively was Download 2. Yeah. That's really what it was.
Yeah.
So as always, we're going to go through the stages across the entire weekend. And we'll go from then, really. Let me just check when it took place, actually. So it was in 2010.
July, wasn't it? I always remember
it was June.
I thought Sonisphere fit in the slot. July.
Find out.
Yep, July.
Yep, Friday the 30th of July to Sunday the 1st of August.
Before we did Bloodstock, so there's no worries about having two festivals in 1 month.
Yeah, this was, our first Bloodstock wasn't until, 2013 or 12?
14.
14, okay, there you go, more off. Right, as always, we go through the stages. We'll start with the smaller ones, work our way up to the top ones. God, there are so many stages, actually. There are quite a few at Sonisphere, so we'll try not to drag it out. So, of course, if you remember Sonisphere, Friday was a half day, effectively, a half day. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of festivals doing that now, don't they? Get you kind of in, get you leveled up. There's a few bands.
No, not really. No, not really. No, because it's just 2.5 days. You're talking about you're making a comparison to Bloodstock, which is three and a half days, so to speak, 3.25 days, more than anything else. But no, I mean, there aren't, not at least not in our country.
Yeah. But okay, so this half day starts with Delane.
Well, it starts on the Saturn stage. Get it right.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I always remember the Saturn stage was the second stage. So if you remember Sonisphere's layout, you had 2 stages at either end. The Saturn stage and the Apollo stage. And the idea was they wouldn't clash. They were going to play opposite times each other. So you could go from one to the other. You'd always get a mass of people. I always remember the Apollo stage being quite good because I swear it had a bit of a downhill, if I remember correctly. Whereas the Saturn stage was weirdly on a slight hill. Because obviously this took place at Nebworth, which is obviously a famous ground. So yeah, Saturn stage then. You said Delane. I've never seen them. I know what they do, but musically, I don't think they actually have that much appeal to me.
No, same with me.
I've never seen them. I don't know if I'd got my way. Then, things are getting weird. For 5 minutes, we get the Time Warp, which I presume was an attempt to do a record break. I think I vaguely remember this. Do the record.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Record breaking amount of people doing a Time Warp. So we ignore that. Tourist. Do you remember seeing Tourist on this stage? I vaguely do.
No. Cool, it's a first world problem. Not remembering every time I saw Tourist, but I can't.
I vaguely remember seeing him. Vaguely. I mean, I couldn't really pin it down, but I vaguely remember seeing him up on that stage. Europe.
No, play that one song.
It's Europe. I mean, I saw them at Ramley Man a few years ago, and I think that was the most enjoyable I've probably seen in Europe. That's maybe out of 2 or 3 times. They're not a band I enjoy, and even like play that one song, I don't really care for it anyway. You know, of course not. Gary Newman. I remember seeing Gary Newman, and I think because there was nothing really else going on. Yeah, I do remember seeing Gary Newman.
I think we enjoyed it something a bit different. I do remember that. I mean, well, it's not metal in the same sense, is it? But it's got his place in there, and obviously influences and stuff. So,
electronica, dark synth, that kind of thing. I've got no problem with him in that sense. It's just not something I would go out of my way to see now. But at least I can say I've seen Gary Newman live. Yeah. And then we had Alice Cooper headlining that, doing this whole schlocky rock thing. Now, do you remember what was significant about this set for me? I got very, very annoyed about something.
I did it at Bloodstock as well. Played this same opening song
Schools Out
and
to open,
and then to close.
Schools Out to end, which I thought was outrageous.
Yeah.
And people tell me, oh, he always does that. And I was like, that doesn't make it better.
No.
Like, I felt that was outrageous. Yeah. Was it an entertaining show? Yeah. I mean, Alice Cooper's got theatrics. He's got the stuff and all that. However, controversial, just not that big of a fan.
No.
Just not that big of a fan. Enough to go, well, he's got a wicked back catalogue. But I do, I respect and appreciate the man's work, his body of work, and other stuff he's done, and the good songs that I do think are good. But I thought it was outrageous, opening with Schools Out and ending with Schools Out. And I apparently remember being the only one who thought that,
I think of all the songs you've got, I don't know why everyone knows Schools Out. Just pick one or the other.
I just can't understand why you have such a bevy of back catalogue. Why on earth?
You play song twice.
Yeah. All right, the Bohemia stage. Where was that? Where was the Bohemia stage? I'm trying to think now because...
I'm trying to picture back.
That must have been a tent. So you had the Saturn stage and there was a tent round the back. So it must have been that.
Then, yeah, so I think of, yeah.
Yeah. Or was it? Was it the smaller stage? Oh, I generally can't remember. No, it must have been a tent because so on. Right, so fly for these because a lot of it is just acts. FMC Party, Bizarre Introduction, Bizarre Act.
I'm guessing that's the magazine, Bizarre.
Yes, you might be right, actually.
I think it was just about nearly finished.
I remember Bizarre. I think you're right, actually, because Bizarre Act, so there was going to be like that kind of stuff on there. Yeah. Then we had Big Elf, Bizarre Act.
Yes, that's got to be.
Again, and then we had Black Spiders. Now, right, what on earth? Do you remember seeing Black Spiders in a tent? Now, we saw Black Spiders at a smaller stage at Sonisphere, but I don't think it was this. Because this was not the same one where Liam and Sally were at.
No.
So I don't think we saw Black Spiders because they were clashing with Europe. I know we saw Europe.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Ooh.
How times have changed. Because we would never now, ever go Europe over Black Spiders.
Yeah.
I must have been drunk.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Was I a fan in 2010? Maybe I hadn't found them yet.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, we're both big Black Spiders fans. So that idea of not seeing them live, it almost doesn't compute,
It's quite funny seeing the pictures at the moment. Every picture they put up of them together, everyone's like, what's going on? They're together. They must do it as a... I'm hoping it may be something in it, but yeah, they must laugh at the reaction of people going, what?
I don't think we saw anything off that main stage.
No.
Because then we got another Bizarre Act. We have Silosis, who I'd love to see now, but certainly didn't see then. Bizarre Act again. 65 Days of Static.
Don't know.
Terror Vision. And Renegades.
Yeah. And that stage goes on quite a bit later as well.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any of this. No, I really don't. That's such a shame. Jägermeister stage. Bit short in this one. We have Little London, Throats, October File, Winnebago Deal, and Karma to Burn. See, again, look at that now. I'm like, I'd have gone and checked that October File and certainly would have wanted to check out Karma to Burn. Yeah, shows, again, just like how times have changed. The Strongbow Bowtime Bar. I don't even remember where the fuck this one was. Chicken Hawk, Def Havana, and So I Watch You From Afar, Failsafe, Chrome Hoof, and Ultimate Power DJs.
Nice.
That's for 3 hours afterwards, yeah. Again, like I said, I mean, they're bands I know all of their names, but didn't see them.
No.
The Red Bull stage, and this is the one we would later see Black Spiders on. This was the small tent, covered area one that was... Do you remember where its position was? Kind of out the back, round by the fairground rides?
Yes.
If you can picture the Sonisphere layout, I can see it.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's not around. Red Bull stage, Never Means Maybe, You and What Army, March of the Raptors, Lower Than Atlantis, Faye Komodo, and Silent Disco... Oh, not band. Silent Disco. Fucking... I'm like, Silent Disco? Yeah. Went on for 4 hours, that did. Fucking hell. I only really recognise Lower Than Atlantis, although Faye Komodo does ring a bell. But I'm going to take a punt and say a lot of that was the pop rock kind of stuff.
Yeah. It does look like it, doesn't it? Yeah. Right.
Saturday, we're going to reverse it this time because Apollo stage is the first one listed. So we're going to do Red Bull stage and work our way up through them, basically. So with the Red Bull stage, we had Stand Up Guy.
No.
This is Divine.
No.
No Mean City.
No.
Don Brocco.
No, then.
Little Fish.
No.
The worst named band ever, Japanese. Blitz Kids.
No.
Endless Dark.
No.
General Fiasco.
No.
And that wicked band came back again for another 4-hour set, Silent Disco. I really don't recognise anyone beyond Don Brocco.
No, it's not my cup of tea. Generally, that stuff anyway. So.
No, oh my fucking Christ. This is amazing. Wow, times have changed. Strongbow Bowtime Bar. You've seen them as well? Mm-hmm. Right, so we had Bendel Interlude DJ. What the fuck is that? It's like a sponsor thing.
Maybe, I don't know.
Then we had Bow and Arrow.
No.
Cars on Fire.
No.
And in a half an hour slot from 2 to 2:30, a little known band from Sheffield called While She Sleeps. Holy shit. Wow. Wow. That would have been...
Let's go back, innit?
That's going back.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. Renoa.
No.
All Forgotten.
No.
Bury Tomorrow. I just saw Bury Tomorrow this last Christmas. Played a roundhouse.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
It was half full, but like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, half an hour slot on a Bowtime bar. You know? You can say that.
Kellermensch. I want to say German like industrial sounding. I don't know why. Kellermensch.
I don't know.
I think German isn't that, but I just thought that. And then Bleed From Within. They're still around.
They're still around, yep. Still knocking boots.
In Me. Oh god, they had their time, didn't they?
Yeah. And this wasn't it even then, I think. And DJs.
Loz DJ.
Loz DJ.
So it might be a...
While She Sleeps. Yeah.
This makes sense if you're
The
there
Beat
anyway.
Monkeys DJ. Who cares? Jägermeister. RSJ. Tom Hollister. But this seems to... No, it's not. Cerebral Ballsy. Young Legionnaire. Audrey Horn.
Yep.
The Casino Brawl.
No.
Out of Sight. Malefice. We must have gone to see them.
We must have done.
We must have gone to see them. Because this is around the time when Malefice were kind of a big deal to us.
Yeah.
So I think that's very likely. And Earth Tone 9.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Don't know.
These lower stages are very hit and miss for the time period for us. I mean, now it's easy to reflect and go, well, that would have been cool to see While She Sleeps and Malefice and stuff like that. But it's like, well, I don't know how much of this we actually fucking did. Bohemia stage. So this was the tent.
Yeah.
Now, I do recognise some of this. Right. Enforcer.
Yeah, I think I've heard of them.
Of course, great band.
Yeah. Evile next. Oh, I really enjoyed Evile.
Thrash
We've seen
band.
them a few times. Yeah. That was, Heaven's Basement. That sounds like a supergroup to me. I don't know.
Does
why.
it? No way. It's a supergroup when you're playing for half an hour at 1 o'clock.
Of course not. Yeah. Futures. Still around?
I don't know. I don't know. Catonia.
I like them. I'd still be interested in that. And then Jared Christmas. This is comedy.
We then had a comedy section of Jared
part.
Christmas, Andrew O'Neill, and Tim Minchin. Now, do you remember seeing a bit of Tim Minchin? We
No.
did.
Did we?
Yeah, because I really didn't want to do it because I'm not a fan. I don't get it. He's not a comedian I particularly care for. So I remember we saw a bit of Tim Minchin. There's a reason why we saw a bit of Tim Minchin. Because we went and stayed to see Sick of It All.
Oh, yes.
We did. And we had a really, really good time. It's the first time I'd really experienced a sort of hardcore
Hardcore
band.
show.
Hardcore Sean is really, really... Show is really, really good. Corey Taylor doing a solo set, I guess.
Don't think even back then.
I don't even think back then we'd have done it. Gallows.
No.
I would have liked to see. I mean, what am I talking about? I have seen Gallows with Frank Carter at the helm, so I have got that at least distinct experience. And they are as chaotic as you would expect. Polar Bear Club.
No.
And I remember going to see Therapy. Yep, and Therapy. Which brings us to the two big stages then: the Saturn stage and the Apollo stage. So hilariously, opening the Saturn stage, and I don't think we saw them.
No.
Sabaton.
Yeah, I wouldn't know who they were back then.
They played for half an hour. Half an hour.
They're really short sets, aren't they?
Soulfly. Would have checked them out.
Always, yeah.
I remember seeing Fear Factory because it was one of the early times at that stage where Fear Factory disappointed me.
Oh, because I remember sound.
Yeah, sound was
got
iffy.
Whipped away. Yeah.
Yep. Apocalyptica. Didn't see them.
No.
Not interested.
Not my
Not
thing.
not a thing at all either. Skunk and Nancy. I know I didn't see them because I'm not a fan. And Motley Crue.
I pretty must have. I can't remember. Like, it feels like so far long ago. I don't know, what, 9 years ago. And I just generally like big black spots in my mind if I was going. But yeah, I'm sure we would have checked out some Motley Crue.
I don't know. I don't think I would have because I've never been a fan. I've never cared for them. And it's very likely that we might tell a lie. Actually, they left. There was they didn't clash, so there is a possibility we watched some of it.
Yeah,
maybe only some of it. What else was playing at 1935 elsewhere? We definitely didn't see Corey. We didn't. Did we might watch a bit of Earth 1930.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe even yeah. There was a possibility of that because I really don't remember seeing Motley Crue.
No.
Right. So Apollo stage.
Yep.
Family Force 5. I don't even know who the fuck that is.
No.
I don't know who the fuck that is. Lacuna Coil. I remember seeing a bit of it.
Yeah. I really like Lacuna Coil when they kind of just got a bit myth at me. And
New album's good.
I haven't listened to that yet.
Anthrax.
Anthrax is Anthrax.
Anthrax is Anthrax. Yeah. John Bush.
Yes.
2010. No. I've never seen him with John Bush.
No. So yeah. Yeah, because when I saw him in 2004, they had John Bush.
No, it would have been Belladonna.
Yeah.
Papa Roach. I remember seeing Papa Roach.
And you're not being very impressed with him.
Yeah. I remember seeing Papa Roach. Good Charlotte. Definitely remember checking them out.
Yep.
I am weirdly a fan.
Yeah, they're always
not a big fan anymore, but like I've always had fun with Good Charlotte, and there's a nostalgic reason, between friends and stuff like that for Good Charlotte more than anything else. You know what? Actually, tell a lie. I think Liam and Sally worked this one because I remember they went to see Placebo. In fact, I think they might have gone to see Placebo when we went to see Black Spiders 1825, and Black Spiders were on at.
We've lost it now. Oh, it's gone all over the place.
No, we went to see. No, what? I don't know actually. No, because Black Spiders were on a different day. But I didn't see Placebo. No. I remember not seeing Placebo. I know we're definitely going to do something else on that day. Placebo, I don't get the appeal.
Oh, I wasn't seeing them.
I have no interest. No interest at all. And then we had the headliners, and this was the second this was the second time we saw Rammstein. So previously we'd seen them this February 20. Yeah, we'd gone from not seeing Rammstein once to eventually seeing them in the equivalent of 3 times in a year and a half.
Yeah.
So they played at Wembley in February of 2010.
Yeah.
We then saw them at Sonisphere, and it was spectacular. And then we would see them at the O2 Arena, I think the year after.
Yeah, oh, guys, we'll come back to me now. Yes.
Yeah, see, I got a memory for it. But yeah, Rammstein were fantastic. It was a great headline slot. It was amazing. Which brings us to Sunday. And again, we start from the very, very bottom. Beginning with the Red Bull stage. Sacred Betrayal. Hearts on the Fire.
No.
After the Ordeal. Lights Go Blue.
No.
Love Amongst Ruin.
No.
Heights.
No.
Army of Freshmen.
No.
Head Charger.
No.
Kylesa. We saw Kylesa. Because I remember him using that I distinctly remember using that wobble machine where you put your hand to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like it's a stand thing, and you put your hand to it, and it creates a feel, a static feel or something.
I can't remember the word for it,
but I distinctly remember that Kylesa set. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then again, for the last time, playing the third set for the weekend, Silent Disco came back. Strongbow Bowtime Bar. Orange Goblin Boys DJ, which is exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Firebug.
No.
Bendel Interlude.
That was that thing from before, the
Yeah.
DJ, so... No, don't know they are.
Straight Lines.
No.
The World on Fire.
No.
See, I remember seeing Cover Attack. That's so weird. I remember seeing Cover Attack because I remember the owl head mask thing he had on. That's weird. Me vs. Hero.
Yep.
The Inner City Dwellers. The Excerpts.
No.
I know the names. The Ghost of 1000.
No.
Loz DJ, so potentially While She Sleeps frontman. Tech One, and then in brackets, Live.
No idea.
What?
No, I don't know what that is.
So... is that like a DJ thing that's never normally live?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And South Central's DJs for the Sunday. Jägermeister. Slam Cartel.
No.
Allies.
No.
Sacred Mother Tongue.
No.
No of them. Boys with X-Ray Eyes.
No.
Turbo Wolf.
I've heard of them.
Yep. Tiger Please.
No.
GU Medicine.
I've heard of them, but not Muffy.
Sweet Savage.
No.
And Slaves to Gravity.
Heard of them, but...
which I'm not a fan. Bohemia. Rollins. Now, I remember this. I'm pretty sure this was Rollins' spoken word stuff. Henry Rollins.
It sounds like they do at Bohemia. It makes sense on that stage.
Yeah, and it was an hour long.
Yeah. Ooh.
Whereas everyone after was back to like, well, in the case of like a band like The Defiled, they got 25 minutes. What's the fucking point? So The Defiled, Rise to Remain, Voodoo 6, The Union. Then we got lots of comedy. However, I will say this. Times have changed.
Yeah.
While I'm not much a comedian, there's one comedian on this list that I would have gone at, well, if it was announced at Sonisphere now, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go see that.
Yeah, I know it is.
So we had Jared Christmas, Glenn Wool, Brian Posen, Sean Hughes, not a fan. Jim Jeffries. Yeah.
He's doing well for himself.
I would have definitely got... Sorry, just dropped that. Gone out of my way to do that. Converge,
I've heard of him.
of course.
Yeah.
Fight Star.
Ooh.
They suck.
Yeah. Oh,
They
God.
suck. And Funeral for a Friend. I like Funeral for a Friend. I am a fan. I've
yeah.
seen Funeral for a Friend live, a great story. You were at this gig.
Yeah, I know I was.
Seeing Funeral for a Friend at Electric Ballroom in right before Christmas and during Into Oblivion reunion. They had snow fall from it. That's awesome.
That was cool.
That's
that
awesome.
Was cool. Yeah.
And then we had 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster.
Never a fan.
Same. Right, Saturn and Apollo. So Saturn, CKY.
Yep, saw them.
Did you?
Quite recently, last year.
Oh, right, you saw them
before,
recently.
yeah,
I mean, at the festival.
At the festival, can't remember seeing. I might have caught a bit of them. I don't know.
Next, this was always one of my big problems with Sonisphere. And people will defend it because it's just a bit of fun. But I used to go, all right, we're going to put these odd bands on who are gimmicks or cover bands and give them a prominent slot. We had the Fab Beatles, which is obviously exactly what it sounds like, a Beatles cover band. Why on earth are they being given a spot on the second stage?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that shit, put them in a tent?
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like, there's literally 6 bands on this stage, and one of them goes to that.
Yeah.
Disgraceful. Dear on Grey, I remember we saw these because you were banging on about them, saw them because you saw them years before in the House of Blues in Florida, and I still didn't like them, and I still don't really care for them. Bring Me the Horizon, no way, never been a fan, wouldn't have seen them. The Cult, I think I watched a bit of it, just to say I saw it.
Yeah, like a box, like a list of bands on a list, isn't it?
Yeah, and I remember we watched all of Iggy and the Stooges, because I kind of forget that I've seen Iggy Pop live. I have.
Yeah.
So there you go. You kind of forget. You see so many bands live in festivals, and you're like, oh, you did. Particularly when you look at festival sets.
It's like reanimated beef jerky, isn't he?
And last but not least, we go to the Apollo stage, and we had Carnival. We had one of the worst bands in the world.
Oh, God.
They were terrible when they turned up, and I still think they're terrible now. Medina Lake. Do you remember Medina Lake?
Yes.
Fucking horrid.
Just briefly got confused with Erasmus, but I don't know why, but yeah,
just as bad. Skindred. Probably at this time I hadn't quite fallen off the train.
Yeah, so we bang up seeing them.
Yep, Slayer.
Obviously.
Obviously Alice in Chains.
Obviously.
I would have done a runner for Pendulum.
No way.
And then again, still doing the headline round, still doing the headline slot. And I did see it. I do remember seeing it. We then got Iron Maiden, of course, as a headliner. We've done many festival flashbacks, and Iron Maiden are a consistent headliner.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a big ass fucking festival with a wide array of bands. You'd argue too many stages.
Yeah.
Do you really need 6 stages? And there's a strong argument that perhaps alternating the main stages, the 2, like almost trying to copy Hellfest model, was not a smart idea. The better off would have been spreading, cost-wise, surely, right? Spreading
What you yeah.
4 stages and spreading the bands out, and it's clash.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone was used to it. I know they were trying to do things that made it
different
to download.
Yeah.
But look at the lineup. Like, who are you trying to kid? Seriously, who was Sonisphere trying to kid? Yeah. We're different. No, you're fucking not. You download 2. Yeah. You're not. You're not.
For some people.
You're a smaller capacity. And the things that you're doing differently are like, okay, we're gonna have comedians on. That's a risky business because who goes to a music festival for comedians? Yeah. Particularly, if you've got a comedy stage. Yeah. Perhaps that's what they should have done. Yeah. Comedy stage instead of putting comedians in amongst bands. Yeah. There's an argument for that.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of love for it,
actually walk over to it though.
People who want to sit and chill, watch comedy. The same people who want to who don't want to watch a headline at Bloodstock and instead want to sit in a New Blood tent and watch a film. Yeah. It's a small percentage, but it's an offering. Yeah. And that I presume is quite not that costly for like Bloodstock and that kind of thing. The same, the same like anything. Why you have the same people who want to do 4 hours of a silent disco. Yeah. Stuff like that. I don't get, like, I hear silent disco, I can't think of anything worse. Like, how do you talk to people? I've never done a silent disco. Right. Bloodstock 20. Right.
No. It's not 4 hours solid dancing.
Right. Remember this. Bloodstock 2020. They do a silent disco on one of the nights in the VIP thing. Yeah. Remind me, I'm going to go in for 5 minutes. Yeah. With the headphones, just to see what it's like. Yeah. I've already not got hearing in one ear. It's not going to be a massive difference to me, but I want to understand is it generally I can't hear anything but the music now, so it's just like bop bop bop, and you know.
Yeah.
Is it that?
It's you'd have on your headphones you've got 5 different channels, so you could be listening to something completely different to someone else.
It sounds so fucked up. I don't get it. But back to Sonisphere. I have a lot of love and good memories from Sonisphere. I think when I reflect on it and you look at 2009, 2010 and what would follow it, you can actually spot the problems ahead of time. There are many things I'm critical of what they did, and ultimately the biggest one is going to be you just were download too. Yeah. You made a market that was already quite tight, even tighter.
And the month in the middle, like you picked July in the middle. You've got competing festivals on either side.
Yep.
European festivals. You've got.
It's almost how on earth it survived that long. Yeah. You know, and it would be nice. Here's the thing: is we don't need an alternative to download. No. We don't. I know people say, no, we do. No, we don't. No. We need alternative festivals, but we don't need an alternative to download. Download is download. It will always be there, presumably, and cater to this. Yeah. We don't need another festival that's like this. We don't. What we need are alternatives, smaller ones. That's what we need. Those are your options. Ones that focus on specific genres, or like you said, Bloodstock does so well because it is a legit alternative.
Yeah.
You know, what people worry about every year about whether they're booking download bands and all that, it never comes true.
No.
You might get the odd one that has crossover, and that's fine. But look at Bloodstock this year. You know what I mean? Like,
there's always
these organisers, they know you can't do Bloodstock download 2. Sonisphere tried, it failed. You know.
Did they start too big? Maybe, I don't know.
It started huge. I mean, I swear it was just a 2-day festival originally. But we'll get to those. We'll go back in time to the original festival and stuff like that. But that's 2010's Sonisphere lineup. I think it's mostly miss. I think it's mostly repeats of bands you'll have seen many, many times over and over again. And while we were there, I can remember certain memories of it. It's probably not the most prominent one. I think the last Sonisphere we went to was probably the most prominent one I remember, where Slipknot headlined and stuff like that. Yeah. We will get to that one in the future. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?